You're back with the Fujitsu V8 Supercars from Adelaide. It's certainly expensive to run a V8 supercar team, but the Fujitsu V8 series, although still a costly exercise, can be achieved on a much more modest budget. And the result is a mix of cars with some history all of their own. There are some well-loved cars and some well-loved parts in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar series, and one of those men with one of these cars is Shane Bycock. You've got a museum on wheels.
Yes, Aaron, we've got an original Stone Brothers package here. We've got an original 96-1 engine, flywheel housing and gearbox package. This has got a lot of heritage as far as I'm concerned, because it's one of the first engines that Stone Brothers ever built when they went out on their own and had the Alan Jones racing package in 1996.
It still goes all right too.
It's got excellent horsepower still. Not quite up with the real big guys, but it's not too shabby at all.
And there's some Craig Lowndes in this car as well.
Yeah, we've got we grafted the green-eyed monster Craig Lowndes Gibson Motorsport cylinder heads onto the engine, which is still of the Stone Brothers heritage from about year 2000, 2001 that Craig used in his AU.
This is a museum on wheels. How much longer can this keep rolling?
No, it's got a lot of life left in it as far as we're concerned. We're going to do this year and next year in this AU, and we'll keep freshening it up and a little bit of development as we can.
Now this one looks familiar. This is the last Holden Racing Team Commodore produced before they moved to the VE in 2007. For this year's Fujitsu V8 Supercar series, it's driven by the Kiwi, Kane Scott. If it's pedigree you want, it's pedigree you find in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar series, and this is no better car. It's last year's V8 Supercar Championship winning machine, driven then by Rick Kelly for the Toll HSV dealer team. But in 2007, it becomes Tony D'Alberto's Commodore as he hunts for his first Fujitsu Series crown. So there's a real mix of older race cars having their lives extended, I suppose, with some very careful nurturing to mix in competitively with some of the latest technology available.
And it's the current cars that really are making the difference in this class at the moment. We've seen the ones with not so much age on their side running at the front of this field.
A big field of cars here at Adelaide. Let's take a look at the way they'll line up for race 2 in round 1 of the Fujitsu V8 Supercar series. Our race 1 winner, Michael Caruso, will start from the pole position alongside Tony D'Alberto. Jonathan Webb and Dale Wood for Greg Murphy Racing. They'll start from row number 2. A great drive from Dale Wood, the former Formula 4 driver. Scott Loadsman, a great drive in 7th in race 1. Jose Fernandez will start alongside him. Mark Howard to start from 12th in one of 3 Howard Racing Fords in this one. Clayton Pine, who's Jose Fernandez's teammate in the new Prodigy Motorsport team. He's driving an ex-Dick Johnson Racing Falcon this weekend. Marcus Sukanovic back there in 18th. Some problems for him this weekend, just coming to grips with that car. There's the man to keep an eye on, Andrew Thompson, the pole man from race 1. He's got to come from position 22 in a very big field of competitive Fujitsu V8 Supercars. David Cedars towards the back. Simon Wills and Mark McNally round out the 30 starters. We have the green flag at the back. The revs start to rise. Race 2, round 1 of the Fujitsu V8 Supercars on the streets of Adelaide. Great initial jump from Michael Caruso, but now D'Alberto gets the hold and running. They're going to go side by side into the centre chicane.
And Caruso got a great start, but the thing just broke into wheel spin, and while D'Alberto started a little later, no wheel spin, passed him on the run down in the first corner, and he's our leader.
Perfect start from Tony D'Alberto in the Commodore that won last year's main game. Look at Damien White, already starting to make a move. We've got some big players in the Fujitsu series coming through from the back of the field. Look for Simon Wills. There's Andrew Thompson in there, trying to mix his way through the traffic. A very, very hard place to fight through the field.
Difficult to pass, but you want to get by as many as you can. We see Jose Fernandez there having a bit of a look down the inside. You've got to be a little patient. We've got 24 laps. They've got good car speed, but of course they want to pass as many cars as possible, so they're looking to get to the front. Meantime, we've got our leaders here, D'Alberto and Caruso. Caruso will be trying to get a breath, working down on that car and harrying the back of the D'Alberto Commodore.
Scott Loadsman under fire from Jose Fernandez, who makes a big move up the inside there.
Very, very lucky not to clip the back of the Commodore. Jose just got in too deep and couldn't quite pull the car up in time to get around the corner, right on the apex.
They sort themselves out. The end of lap 1, and D'Alberto is the race leader, the Holden Young Lion, who has had a lot of experience in this category over the past few years, has done some racing in the Sandown and Bathurst endurance races with Tasman Motorsport, and more recently with the Toll HSV dealer team. He leads at the end of 1, but Caruso not too far away. A good strong start too from Damien White. He's up there in position 4.
And for the lead 4 cars at this point in time, it's all about just getting the tyres hot in the car, bringing the brakes up to temperature, sure, pressing the guy in front of you if you can, but making sure you don't make a mistake so you can take a little bit later in the race.
You can see just behind this dice, Adam Sharp, the Englishman in the Howard Racing Ford. Simon Wills, we're told, has just started this race. That car has been in the pits with a few fuel system problems after the fire in race 1. He's back on the track, but a long way behind the leaders.
Caruso definitely running around close to the back of Alberto here. He's looking for a spot to pass.
Just looks like he's got the pace at the moment in this early section of the race. Very, very easy to start attacking. He's just having a look. That's not a passing place at turn 8.
No, but he'd be moving the car around on the road so he gets Tony's attention, so Tony knows that he's going to have a bit of a lunge. He's unsettling him a little bit, trying to get him to run down the inside of the corner in case he can pressure him into making a mistake.
Caruso really does look like he has the car speed to fight Tony D'Alberto in the early stages of this race. And they're not dropping Jonathan Webb and Damien White too far away either. They're having a good fight for 3rd and 4th, but at the moment, these 4 are the class of the field.
We've got 2 separate races here, one for 1st and one for 3rd. These guys are running pretty hard at each other. They're not at the point, though, where they're making any contact or they're pushing and shoving around the track. They're just making sure they've got good pace. Michael Caruso, I think, is the biggest aggressor in this group of 4. He's certainly looking like he wants to get past Tony.
The concrete canyons of the Clipsal 500 street circuit really echoing the 600 horsepower cars in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. Jonathan Webb holding off Damien White. This is an ex-Paul Morris Motorsport car which Damien debuted at the final round of last year's series at Phillip Island. Replay at turn 9. Colin Cedars and Marcus Sakanovich involved there in a small incident. Mark Howard and Dean Neville getting together too at the final corner.
Mark Howard very lucky to get around Dean Neville there. A little bit of contact on the outside, but he's got away pretty clean.
Brad, we're just hearing from race control that Marcus Sakanovich is going to be forced to head to the pits. Not sure what the problem is there, but there's the pass for the lead. Michael Caruso has found a way past Tony D'Alberto.
It's surprising how much room Tony left on the inside there, but Michael made a great job of that. Down the inside, very clean move. Now he's starting to press on and build that gap.
Just starting to look like D'Alberto's almost driving for 2nd there. Safety car boards being displayed in the background with the yellow flag. So the safety car will come out here in race 2, and that's the reason why Shannon O'Brien in the tyre wall at turn 4.
Really bad luck for Shannon O'Brien. He's locked an inside wheel, shot into the fence. That's the end of his weekend.
Marcus Sakanovich, though, he's in the pits.
I don't honestly know. I've been black flagged for some reason, and I think it's got to do with tyres. I don't know, but again, I'm all new to this, and the whole Action Racing team are all new and still learning as we go along. It's probably still a mistake on all our parts, but look, we'll live and learn, and we'll get to Wakefield Park, and hopefully we'll try and have a better round there. But it's definitely been a big learning experience here.
Bad luck for Marcus. As it turns out, he had his practice tyres on instead of his registered race tyres, and that's the reason he's been dragged out of the race.
Back to green flag racing, the restart in race 2, round 1 of the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. Caruso and D'Alberto resume their tussle from the first part of this race. Through the centre chicane, really easy here to make a mistake on cold tyres.
And this is great news for our fast qualifiers that ended up getting DNFs in the first race and were off the back. Guys like Andrew Thompson, it's given them an opportunity for the whole field to close up and for them to catch up to a few more guys and hopefully catch up to the leaders.
Jose Fernandez fighting back through the field, had all sorts of dramas in race 1. Just behind him, Tim Slade, the former Formula 4 driver who was runner-up in last year's National Championship, has replaced Tony Evangelou in the Dexion Ford for this year. Caruso, though, driving away out in front. A great fight back in the pack. Kane Scott coming back through, putting a move on Neil McFadden.
And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. The field bunches up, Kane Scott's able to... And this is a perfect opportunity.
Jay Verdnick making a move on the inside of Neil McFadden. He's been another big mover in this race. The local driver driving the GIO Commodore this weekend. Great to have them back in the sport. Started from 17th and has worked his way now well and truly up inside the top 10. So he's starting to make a charge. You're watching the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series from the streets of Adelaide here on 7. More after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the final race in the opening round of the Fujitsu V8 Supercars from the streets of Adelaide. Looking at Adam Sharp, the young Englishman, driving for Howard Racing this year. A guy with a lot of experience in sports cars in the UK. Looks a little bit out of place, an Englishman in V8 Supercar racing, but we're on board with him now. Hard at work in the office. Dean in problems at turn 11, just understeering a little wide, gets away with it too. That was very, very close. Adam Wallace though, he's in real problems. The left front of the Sydney Star Commodore looks like a suspension or a steering issue there.
Definitely got the wheel hanging off it. It's broken possibly the wheel off the car or the top suspension arm.
Here's the fight, Jonathan Webb, Jose Fernandez. This is the fight for 4th and 5th. Damien White is clear in position number 3, but it's been a topsy-turvy weekend for Jose Fernandez. He's 4th at the moment. He's been up and down like a yo-yo really this weekend in a deal that just came together in the last week or two.
He spent a lot of time around Jonathan Webb. These two seem to be stuck together for the whole race.
Big gap back to Kane Scott, the Kiwi. He'll step onto a plane at the immediate end of this race and drive in the New Zealand V8 Touring Car Championship this weekend. Busy, busy time for he and Luke Youlden doing the same thing this weekend. Tony D'Alberto, the fastest lap of the race so far, but there's a problem for Neil McFadden in the 40 Falcon. He's hit the wall on the run through turn 8. He's limping off at the exit of turn 9. That car not in a dangerous position, but possibly one for a safety car.
Not a great weekend for McFadden. He had a bit of trouble yesterday going into the fence and turn 8. How many people does that catch out? It's a very, very fast corner, and it's done a lot of damage to that vehicle.
Just a bit too wide there out in the marbles.
He's got in a little bit too wide. He's missed the apex, a foot on the inside, 5 feet on the outside, clobbered the wall, out seriously out of the race.
Yellow flags on display for that car. Jose Fernandez makes a move up the inside of Damien White at the hairpin, and ooh, that yellow flag.
And they were out fair way down the straight too, weren't they? I'm surprised Jose didn't see that. Got their eyes on though, watching the race. Oh, throwing it away with a spin.
He's taken the eyes off and lost 3rd spot. He's back to 5th. Can he get going? He does. So he's got a massive gap really back to Kane Scott. So in the grand scheme of things, he hasn't actually lost out too much.
Well, he's now got Kane Scott all over him. So Jose's heart will be going at about 200. He'll be trying to regain his composure and brake and steer. He'll be a little bit nervous in the car. Of course, Kane Scott has seen an opportunity, and he'll be jumping all over Jose, trying to pick up another position.
And following Kane Scott through is Andrew Thompson, who started towards the back of the field. In fact, he started from position 22, and he's already right up there in the top 10.
Here's Jose, just clipped that curb on the outside, back of the car stepped around a little bit, maybe a slightly locked rear brake. It was enough to turn him around. Lucky not to hit that tyre barrier on the inside.
More dramas for Dean Neville in the Catome Falcon.
And similar problem, he's just run a little bit wide, missed his apex. The car has slipped over that curb, touched the tyre barrier.
A good fight here between Damien White and Jonathan Webb. They're fighting for 3rd on the streets of Adelaide, and Damien White is a newcomer to V8 Supercar Racing, driving for the Wollongong Performance Racing team, who are running 4 cars in the V8 Utes as well as this car. Here comes Jonathan Webb though. That was going to take some manoeuvring.
Well, Jonathan's had the pressure taken off him by Jose spinning out of the race. So now all he needs to do is focus on the car in front, watches where it brakes, moves up every time that car jumps on the brakes or the throttle, and it's pulled him right up to the back of White, and now, of course, he's attacking.
He looks like he has the speed, but where on earth is he going to get past in the last 2 laps?
Well, there's about 3 good passing opportunities here, and I reckon up into turn 3, you know, down into turn 9, there's a couple of spots where you can slide down the inside and pull off a good passing move.
Brett Hobson and Dale Wood. Hobson celebrating his 21st birthday today, so the Sydney Star Commodore is holding out Dale Wood, who started from the second row of the grid, has just faded back a little bit to the back of the top 10, but it's his first run in a V8 Supercar, and after having a big accident in practice, that can really knock your confidence.
It can, and these two guys, I think, are doing a great job on the weekend. They've had the cars in a little bit of the wars, I'd say, but certainly doing a good job from here.
Brett Hobson started from 20th on the grid. Dale Wood started from position 4.
We're down to the business end of the race, and Webb's certainly letting White know that he wants to get by. Nothing wrong with a little bit of a tickle up here and there. They don't mind that at all, as long as you don't turn the person around.
In the closing stages of race 2, the opening round of the 2007 Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series, and Webb's made the move. He's through into 3rd.
And now he has to defend. He's moved to the inside, and Damien White just has a bit of a look down the inside there, and that's forced Jonathan Webb to run a little bit wide and a little bit deep into the corner. He was braking on the dirty inside of the track where there's no rubber, no grip on the track, and that's allowed Damien White to recapture that position.
Smart driving, though, from both drivers. It's a long championship and all the points count.
Well, it's hard racing. They're not giving an inch. It's fair. There's a little bit of bump and grind as it should be, but they're certainly racing for this position.
They're fighting hard for 3rd and 4th in the closing stages. Michael Caruso is the leader, just set the fastest lap of the race back on lap 17, a 1:24.39. So has got a couple of tenths of a second of a margin over D'Alberto.
And as these two have been dicing hard, we've got Thompson coming into the game now. Only three-quarters of a lap to go, and he'll be pressing hard to get up to these two.
I thought we said no one passed at turn 8.
It looked a lot like that, didn't it?
Great move from Jonathan Webb, though, to steal that spot away. Shane Bykov, Gary Dean are lapped cars in front of our race leader, Michael Caruso, through turn 8 for the final time.
And he's giving them a flash. He's got plenty of room behind him, but you know he just doesn't want anyone in the way. No accidents, no spins, clean pass. Look at the front wheels on that car. They're black from all the brake dust that he's been coming off the car. Oh, he won't be liking this much. Look at that action.
That was Sam Walter and Clayton Pine in the second of the Ford Rising Stars cars. Daniel Elliott in behind that, but his teammate is bringing it home to the checkered flag. Michael Caruso took the victory in race 1. He's had to fight a little bit harder in race 2, but he's coming off the final turn. He's going to go back-to-back and claim maximum championship points in round 1 of the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series in Adelaide. On the other side of the break, we'll check out the race results and the championship points and talk to our round winner. ...2007 is off to a flying start in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. Michael Caruso, first time out with this new look Ford Rising Stars racing team. He is the winner in race 2 and for the round. D'Alberto and White round out the top 3. Strong drive from Andrew Thompson. He fought back from that race 1 retirement to come all the way back through the field and finish in 4th spot. A good field of cars, some fantastic racing this weekend, and Scott Loadsman rounded out the top 20. But to the winner go the spoils. Michael Caruso, number 1 on the streets of Adelaide in 2007, and that's the perfect way to kickstart a championship challenge for this former Formula 3 open wheeling champion. He's driving in the V8 Supercars now. He's looking to make a name for himself. Congratulated there by Tony D'Alberto, who takes 2nd for the round, a solid start for the Holden driver. Damien White in 3rd, Jonathan Webb also up there in the Stone Brothers Ford on debut, and a great drive from Dale Wood for Greg Murphy Racing, salvaging 5th from his very first weekend in a V8 Supercar. Daniel Elliott rounds out the top 20, a strong performance for him for Ford Rising Stars Racing. But Michael Caruso is the man with the trophy from round 1 on the streets of Adelaide. That's it for the first round of the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. If you're in New South Wales, you can catch all the action live from round 2 at Wakefield Park on the last weekend in March. And of course, the highlights on your home of supercars, Channel 7 the following weekend on April 7 from 1:30. Of course, check your local guides. On behalf of the whole team here at V8 Supercars, we'll see you next time.